Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order. It is roughly 5:05. Let's start with roll call. Commissioners present. I'm Don Griffin, Chair.
Dave Walter.
Cindy Canarney.
Steve Scambolari.
Eric Stanweiss.
Sue Wanzer representing MCCSC.
Dave? Dave?
He's muted.
Yeah, I'm here.
Dave Williams.
Okay. All right. Staff present.
Jeff Underwood, Controller Treasurer.
Dave Williams, City Parks.
Larry Allen, Legal.
Doris Sims, Housing and Neighborhood Development, as well as Christina Finley.
Fantastic. David, can you hear us? David Walters on the roll call for Commissioner.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay. Did you say yeah? Did you? Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I just mute the mic.
Okay. Cool. Anybody else present? Larry Allen. All right.
I am present, yeah.
All right. Cool. Let's have a reading of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes for March the 2nd, 2020?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? None. The motion carries. Examination of claims. Is there a motion to approve the claims registers for March 6, 2020?
Hey, Don, let me interrupt. If I can have Larry unmute. Larry, do they need to do roll call votes since this is a electronic meeting?
We do for all the substantive matters. We have been doing voice votes for these procedural matters, but yes, for
Okay.
electronic meetings, you need to do roll call votes.
Okay, that's fine.
Also, Donald, because there are a lot of people on the call, so Christina's going to be able to know who's at the meeting, so we can take it for minutes. So if we could do a roll call also for the people on the call.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry. You broke up on me.
There's a lot of people on that's part of the Zoom meeting, so we need to know who's part of the meeting.
Okay.
That's not commissioners or staff.
Okay. So why don't we, you know what, let's go back since we've done everything wrong. Let's go back to roll call. We've already gone through the commissioners. We went through the staff. Let's ask for other presents. Who else do we have that needs to speak?
Matt Smothers with Planning and Transportation.
Okay.
Angela Parker, I'm here, as well as Jim Murphy and Ron Walker for CFC for an item that's later in the agenda. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
I think Sue Scambolari's on the call as well.
Yeah, I think she came in as a commissioner present earlier. Sue, are you still with us?
Yes, I am. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No, you're good. You're good. All right. Now let's go to reading of the minutes, and we'll have to all say our, we'll all, if we're in favor, we all have to say we're in favor by name.
I think on the minutes and the claims, I think you don't have to do the roll call. I think it's when you get down into the bottom, the actual agenda items, you'll need a roll call. So I think you're good up to what you've done so far.
Okay, so let's go with the examination of claims. We were there. Is there a motion to approve the claims registers for March the 6th, 2020, March the 20th, 2020, and April the 3rd, 2020?
I'll move that we accept those registers.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? None. The motion carries. Examination of payroll registers. Is there a motion to approve the payroll registers for February the 28th, 2020 and March the 13th, 2020?
I'll move we accept those registers.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? None. The motion carries. Next, let's have reports of officers and committees. Is there a director's report?
Where am
Doris?
Yes, I'm sorry.
No,
Coming
you're
in.
fine.
So I have two things. We do have a new redevelopment commission member who will be replacing Sue Scamblary. It's Nicholas Kappas. I've reached out to him, so hopefully he will be available to attend the April 20th meeting. And then Dave Walter, you were reappointed by the council. So both Nicholas and Dave are council appointments. We received additional allocation under our CDBG grant for the COVID-19 under the CARES Act. We'll be receiving an additional $525,656. I'm waiting for information from HUD on how we can be able to allocate that funding. I'm sorry for the echoing. But so that's all I have to report.
Okay. We'll miss you, Sue,
I'll miss all of you.
but we'll see you on TV. All right. Do we have a legal report?
Just the only thing I would note for the legal report is that as part of the construction for the Trades District garage, there was necessary for a right of entry to allow some laydown of materials. So there's property that the RDC owns that's immediately west of Rogers Street. And we are giving that, we have given permission for Garmong to use a portion of that property. If you recall, whenever Pedcor was building their building, we had allowed that property to be used as kind of a staging area for Pedcor. So now we're going to allow Garmong to kind of do the same thing. It creates it frees up parking in the Trades District itself, because we would have to use space actually in the Trades District if we didn't have this property. But otherwise it makes the construction of the garage, which is getting underway, much easier. So just to make you aware of that. Otherwise, I'm here to answer questions if the commissioners have any.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Larry. The next thing we have a treasurer's report. Is there a treasurer's report?
Yeah, just a couple of things. I'll do the Trades District update as well. We just recently completed the annual TIF report, and we'll be sending that all out to you. We also have to submit that up to through the gateway system. So I'll be doing that this week, and we'll share it with the council as well. So just wanted to let you know about that. And then secondly, we are full steam ahead on both the Trades District garage as well as 4th Street. We expect to have preliminary drawings in April the 20th and have an initial bid package go out on 4th Street after that. And then we'll have the follow-up bid package go out in May once the final documents are done. So we'll give you updates on those as we go along, but things are moving along. We're getting ready to move really into the foundation and construction phase on Trades District. We're finalizing the removal, and we'll talk a little bit about a temporary chiller and CFC parking shortly. That's all for me.
All right. Is there a CTP update report? Or was that kind of?
That was both.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all for your reports. And do we have any questions from commissioners for any of the folks? No? All right. Let's go into new business. The next item of business is Resolution 20-15, approval of CFC parking addendum. Who wants to speak in regards to this?
I will jump in, and Larry is there as well as our colleagues from CFC. For those of you that will give you a little bit of history is we initially, you all own the parking lots around the trades built around the Showers Plaza. You sold what we call the red lot to the county. we kept the one that's on the south end, which is employee and visitor parking, and then to the west, which is a combination of city parking and spaces that are leased to CFC. The initial lease was for 93 spaces. That was an amendment was made that added 30 for a total of 123. Obviously, as we build the garage, we lost the city spaces as well as a number of CFC spaces that we had provided them temporary parking for to keep them at 123. As a part of this project, they have a chiller that is for the heating and air conditioning for their building that sets out in the lot. Under the construction, we were going to remove that chiller and install a temporary, and then at the end put one in. And we began negotiations and discussions with CFC about whether they would be ready to actually replace that because it's close to the end of their useful life. So as we went through these discussions, we came up with an amendment to that contract that essentially we had the option to cancel 30 of those spots. That was the amendment that would get them down to 93 spots. We anticipate that once the construction is completed, that we'll be able to return 56 permanent spots to them on the southern end of the lot. And then we will make available to them 67 spaces in the garage. You'll notice on the amendment that it only talks about the 56 spaces as a permanent agreement, and that we would make 67 available to them. Because of the financing on the garage, we cannot have a long-term agreement with CFC for those spaces. But we've worked very closely with them on 4th Street, which has worked out well, and we would have a similar arrangement and now with the trades district that would allow them to get those on an annual basis. The bottom line is this contract would have us, the RDC, reimbursing CFC $309,377 for the replacement of a new chiller.
Well, what I did, I didn't see that computer audio option up there.
Hey, Jim, you're not muted.
Sorry about that.
Plus any rock that they might hit for an excavation. These typically chillers have underground cisterns where water is stored as they process it through the chiller. As I said, the cost of the temporary chiller and the demo of the existing one was already included in the construction package, so those costs were already included. And essentially what we did was we looked at what was a net present value between what CFC would pay us for the current leases, and they have the option to renew all the way through November 1st, 2045. So this agreement takes out those automatic renewals that start their 10-year increments at the end at November 1st of 2025, and they could automatically renew for 2 more 10-year periods. So we've just taken those renewals out and set it down to one spot, one time period. So essentially what the payment of the 309 nets out what they would pay us, what we would pay them, and provide the lot back to them. At this point, we're very satisfied with the agreement. The Cook representatives are here. They've been wonderful to work with. We have set the temporary chiller and running it through their paces. And assuming that you would approve this amended agreement tonight, then that will allow them to authorize the cut over to the temporary chiller, authorize us to demo the old one, and allow them to proceed with ordering the new one. And they will actually install that themselves once it comes in. So at this point, I'm available, Larry's available, and the folks from CFC are available to answer questions.
Any questions from any of the commissioners in regards to this? And Larry, how do we, who's that?
No, that was Cindy. I just said it sounds pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it does. do we have any, how do we, Larry, how do we address the fact that this is a public meeting? How do we, how do I,
So
do I have to ask the public if anybody from the public has anything to say?
you actually don't have to, but what we are doing is we're monitoring. I believe Doris is actually monitoring the Facebook page, and Doris, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Just if any questions come in, she can ask them to the group and pose them to the commission.
Okay.
If that's not the case, Doris, please let me know, and I'll make sure I get on the Facebook and I can monitor.
Okay.
Also, if Jim or Ron or Angela want to say anything, please chime in as well. Didn't mean to say that you couldn't speak as well.
Angela Parker here for CFC. Jim and Ron are on the call. Just want to say we appreciate the opportunity to work through that, working with all of you. Larry and I worked hard on the amendment, so we've got that finalized with the drawings. So I think we're fairly well satisfied with the process and the outcomes on this, and appreciate the opportunity to work through it. So thank you.
Thank you. So if we don't have any other questions from commissioners, can I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion. We accept resolution 20-15.
Second.
This is, yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Just a moment. I'm sorry.
Need a
Sorry to
roll
interrupt
call.
you all. Please do it by roll call. So we'll have to call the name of each
That's right.
commissioner
Okay.
individually just to go through to make sure that their vote is yes. Thank you.
Okay. You're trailing off a little bit after that, so but we got the gist. That was
Not that one, the other.
was that
See it and see Zoom, click on it.
who gave the who actually gave the motion?
I did.
So yeah, say you're gonna have to say your name as you.
Okay, this is David Walter. I approve the motion. Vote yay.
And who do we have
Sandwise,
the
second.
Sandwise second. I agree. Don Griffin.
Steve Scambolari, yes.
Cindy Canarney, yes.
Okay. And our MCCSC person does not have an actual vote. So if there isn't any other further comments, all of us were in favor. There were no opposed. The motion carries. The next item of business is Resolution 20-18, approval of 2020 Bctm partnership agreement. Is there anyone present that wants or needs to speak briefly to this resolution?
I think those are guidance coming out Monday or so.
I can jump in and then maybe turn it over to Larry with some specifics, if that's okay. This is a resolution to renew the Buskirk-Chumley Theater arrangement that we've had in the past. As you know, they received several funding lines from different parts of the city. One is from City Council, one is from Parks, and then the RDC provides funding for certain types of investments. Some of these are detailed. They have to follow sort of strict guidelines on that. This is a renewal for 2020 of the agreement, recognizing that it's April 9th. Part of the reason why this has been delayed, there was a personnel turnover at the Buskirk, and we wanted to make sure that settled in. We've had some discussions on a couple of changes that have happened to the agreement, which Larry can detail, but basically this is a renewal. There's I think a change that has to happen to the resolution, Larry, on point 4, is that right?
So there was a typo on the resolution that was corrected. The resolution said it expired as of December 31st, 2019. That has been amended, so you would approve the amended motion that expires December 31st, 2020 is what it should have said instead of 2019. In terms of if you want me to speak just briefly to some of the changes to the agreement, they were relatively minimal. One of the things that we've been in long negotiation about with the Buskirk-Chumley is just what happens in the event that one or both parties wants to terminate the agreement, and what happens if, say, Buskirk Chumley, the management company itself, gets an opportunity and decides that it no longer wants to manage the Buskirk Chumley. So some of the provisions that were added to this agreement have taken us a step down that path in dealing with those circumstances. And one of the things we wanted to make sure is that money that was raised using the Buskirk Chumley, for the marquee, for all of that stuff, stays with the theater itself, so that we make sure that those are invested in the community. And both parties were amenable to that, and it's something that we'll continue to kind of hone in future agreements. The other substantive change is that City Parks has been the primary seat on the board. I don't know if Alex mentioned this. So now that is going to reside in Economic and Sustainable Development. So Sean Starowitz has been attending board meetings already on behalf of the city of Bloomington. So just a little bit of a administrative change there, just in terms of how we're communicating and working with the theater to go through. But in terms of the funding, the RDC funding remains exactly the same from previous years. It is TIF funding, so it's subject to all the reasonable rules and restrictions under the statute for TIF funding, which we have tried to encourage upgrades to the theater when they can. We have obviously approved some TIF funding, but there is no material change in the number. I think it's still $74,000. And the city council is providing operational funding, or some operational funding, in the tune of $55,000 that comes in quarterly payments. And then there's some money for parks that goes specifically to maintenance to the theater based on priorities. So that money, that type of fund where TIF can't cover those maintenance things, they can't just cover straight maintenance, as you all know. And so that's kind of the outline of this particular thing.
Okay,
So
thank you.
like the mill, we are both interested in, we are landlords, and then we are also interested in the kind of the operating value of the facility. So the purpose of separating the roles and responsibilities between Parks and the Department of Economic and Sustainable Development, Parks will focus exclusively on landlord-related duties and issues, and the Department of Economic and Sustainable Development, with Sean Starowitz, who's so ingrained and integral to what's happening in the city of Bloomington's cultural scene, can represent the city's interests and balance those with the Buskirks in a way that I think will be very valuable moving forward.
All right, thank you, guys. That's comprehensive information. Any questions from commissioners in regards to Resolution 20-18?
A question from me. This is Eric through my avatar. For clarification, the 55K that's mentioned therefore in the resolution is really not ours to vote upon or even discuss. That's just a point of information. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. You're voting on the $74,000 that's in that is RDC funding.
Thanks, Alex.
Okay.
Yeah, just to add to that, there's actually three boards that will approve this agreement: the RDC, the Board of Public Works, and the Parks Department, because it's a combo agreement between those three departments, those three boards, and the city and the BCT management. So rather than have separate agreements, we just put it all in one, and all three groups will sign off on it.
Okay. Thanks. Any other questions for, I'm sorry, who's speaking?
No, it's just me. I was going to move approval of Resolution 2018.
And you are?
Sue Scambaluri, sorry.
No, you're fine. Do we have a second?
Cindy Canarney makes a second motion for approval.
And Don, if you would like, I'm happy to call roll for you, if that's easier.
Oh, you can do that?
I can say names.
Hey, go for it, man.
All right. Donald Griffin.
Here. Yes.
David Walter.
Yes.
Sue Scambaluri.
Yes.
Eric Sandweiss.
Aye.
Cindy Canarney.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. The next item of business is Resolution 20-19, Agreement for the Treatment of Trees in the Trades District. Is there anyone present that wants or needs to speak to this resolution?
Well, since Alex is the one that promised the mayor that I would save these trees, this is year 2 of the pin oaks, so this would be another treatment for those that we've worked very hard to keep alive and not get burnt down by fireworks or cut down or cut into. So we thought it was prudent to go ahead. It was recommended by our firm that has been overlooking those that we go ahead and treat those again this year. So we're asking for your approval to move forward with that agreement.
Okay.
Know that one of Mr. Underwood's nicknames is Deadwood, just in case these efforts are not successful.
You know, it's hard to tell jokes like you don't have like anybody. I mean, you're just in a room by yourself, right? So
yeah, I'm cracking myself up.
I know you are. I know you are.
He's laughing because I actually now have a plaque with the multitude of nicknames that I've been given in my return to the city. And 2 of them are courtesy of Alex, which are Deadwood and Firewood, both related to the trees.
Deadwood and Firewood. I love it. I love it. Do any of the commissioners have anything to say in regards to this resolution?
I remember planting a pin oak at our house in the 60s, and it's doing quite fine without treatment. But all the same, I would like to, this is David Walter, I'd like to make a motion that we approve Resolution 20-19.
Sue Scambolery, second.
And all those in favor, can we have a roll call from our esteemed Larry Allen, our lawyer?
I love the way that Don mocks me in these meetings. It's fantastic.
No, that wasn't a mock. That was awesome. That was
the Honorable President Donald Griffin.
I like it. Yeah, yes.
David Walter.
Yes.
Sue Scambolery.
Don't I get a title like short timer, Sue Scambolery or something like that? So,
The Honorable Council Member Sue Scambolery.
all right. Yes.
Eric Sandweiss. Sorry, Dr. Eric Sandweiss. My
Yes.
apologies. And Cindy Canarney.
Yes.
Cindy, is there a preferred title that you would rather have for these roll calls in the future?
None that comes to mind. Thanks.
Okay. If you think of something, please let me know. The motion passes unanimously.
All right. Thank you. The next item of business is Resolution 20-20, Project Review Form, RCA Park Basketball Court. Who would like to speak in regards to this resolution? Sue?
Is David Williams still on the call?
Dave?
He was.
David Williams?
If he's not here, I can speak to it briefly. So this is an upcoming project for RCA Park to refinish the basketball court there. This is obviously just the first step in the process in terms of the project review form. They will come to you with approval of a contract for the funding later, but this is memorializing the project generally.
Larry, can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Can you hear me? I'm sorry, the call got dropped. I had to call back in. This is Dave Williams, Operations Director with Parks and Recreation. I think what I heard from Larry is that we're on the RCA Park Playground Rehabilitation, and I'm happy to fill in any blanks or answer any questions.
Any questions from commissioners?
I would just appreciate, just for the record, Dave, quickly, if you could speak specifically to the need for the resurfacing.
This is the original court construction surface. The park was constructed, known at that time as Thompson Park. It was constructed in '94. So this is the original asphalt surface. We've recoated the court surface striping before and sealed it, but the asphalt needs to be replaced. So clearly, once that's done, new court striping is needed as well. this is something that we do at all of our locations periodically. We've gotten over 25 years of asphalt use, heavy use at our CA Park since its opening.
Okay.
So it's not merely to strip the name Thompson more thoroughly from the surface. Just kidding. Another joke.
It's funny. I had a French joke in there, like we don't want, it's a French court and we need to take it back to a, American court, but never mind. It's obscure because Thompson's was a French company, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, any other questions or funny jokes in regards to this resolution? All right. Can we have a motion?
I move approval.
And that was Eric Sandweiss.
Right.
This is David Walter. I'll second that motion.
Okay. And Don Griffin, yes.
Okay. David Walter,
Yes.
Sue Scambilleri,
Yes.
Eric Sandweiss,
Aye.
Cindy Canarney.
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes.
Okay. Next item of business is Resolution 20-21, fourth addendum to construction inspection agreement with Rundell. My gosh.
Ernst Berger.
Ernst Berger for Switchyard Park.
Ernst Berger.
Okay.
That's correct.
Thank you. All right. Go right ahead. And who am I speaking to?
Dave Williams.
Oh, hey, Dave.
This is Dave Williams, Operations Director with Bloomington Parks and Recreation. This request, it reflects addendum number 4 to the contract, and I would be happy to summarize the previous 3 addendums if you need that information at this time. Switchyard Park project completion is behind schedule. We have brought that area of concern to the attention of Weddle Brothers Construction, and the project documents upon which Rundell Ernstberger's fees were based was a contractual completion date, a substantial completion date of all facilities and grounds and site work by November 15th, 2019. That contract reflected that the heavy lifting, so to speak, would be completed by the end of 19, with only seasonal perennial plantings and other landscape operations to be concluded in the spring of this year. Unfortunately, we have quite a few areas of the park, and I'm sure many of you have viewed it for yourselves. The playground is still closed. The pathways are still closed. We still have a fairly sizable punch list for the facility buildings, the pavilion, the splash pad building, and the Bloomington Police Department substation building. However, it is being occupied by BPD officers and they are in business. But we're behind schedule. Again, we've brought that to the attention of Weddle Brothers Construction, not only in project meetings, but also by way of a letter written to the president of Weddle Brothers by Mayor Hamilton, and that was sent on or about March 30th or April 1st. There are liquidated damages conditions in the contract that Larry can speak more intelligently about than I can. They are under the directive by the city of Bloomington to complete all work by May 24th of this year. Without exception, without further delay. And again, we have brought that firmly to the attention of Weddle Brothers Construction. They are continuing to work on the site. We're optimistic that they will complete the project on schedule. This addendum number 4 reflects increased costs that Rundell Ernstberger will have for construction management and administration. Again, their fees were based on initially very little on-the-ground inspection work to be conducted in the spring of this year. And again, only planting, so it would not have been 40 hours a week by one or more people monitoring every single item of construction. The park presumably would have been open for public use, and the landscaping activities would be going on around them. Unfortunately, we have a large list of items to complete. We will need that construction administration and inspection presence, along with myself and members of my staff. The request by Rondell Ernstberger is $231,630. We spent a substantial amount of time negotiating that fees, trimming it back in hours where we could, again, introducing as many competent Parks and Recreation staff as we could that have been managing the project since we broke ground in May of 2018. This would carry Rondell Ernstberger's fees and administrative costs and inspection through the end of June. Now, again, we have a May 24th completion date for all construction. The extra month would be to complete what's referred to as project closeout documents, as-built construction drawings, training and operations manuals, warranty inspections, things of that nature. That's a summary of the conditions at hand. Again, we are hopeful and cautiously optimistic that we can open up this beautiful new park to the public in full capacity and full use by the end of May. And I'm happy to answer any questions, and Larry can certainly fill in any legal details about the communications with Weddle or about this addendum.
But how much of the liquidated damages, or I mean, will the liquidated damages cover the cost of this this added fee from, I'm just going to call them RE from now on?
REA, yes. More that we have indicated through the communication Mayor Hamilton sent to the president of Weddle Brothers Construction that liquidated damages at $2,000 today have totaled, Larry, I think $270,000, I believe.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. I can pull up the exact number.
Okay.
And obviously that clock, it would continue to run. It's not only, so we feel that's a pretty good incentive to complete the project. And, but yes, they went into effective on or about the 15th of November.
Okay. Okay.
And I would add too, that the typical boilerplate city contract fee for damages per day is $500. Obviously, is substantially big and somewhat complicated construction project. So the fees were increased with legal approval when we went out to bid to $2,000 a day.
Okay. That's good news.
This is Cindy. And you may have said this and I missed it, but what's caused the large majority of the delays?
Well, I'm sure there are two strongly held opinions between the owner of the city of Bloomington and the Weddle Brothers Construction. We extended the completion date from November 4th, which was in the project bid documents, 10 days to the 14th in consultation with legal and with the controller and with the mayor's office. We also incentivized construction of the pavilion to try to get it completed so we could have some events and some revenue producing opportunities at the tail end of 2019. I can't speak for Weddle Brothers. They have a position that we do not agree with. We were not in agreement with in any way, shape, or form as to assumed extensions of deadlines for completion of the contract project. We've held firm to the contract documents since day one. They had 753 days to complete the project, calendar days, from on or about May 14th of 2018. We feel that there's always going to be weather issues that will slow projects down, and contractors always account for them. And quite frankly, we're going into a month that may be wet or wetter than other months, but it's the contractor's responsibility to manage those events, those circumstances, some of which are entirely in their control, some of which they are not. And we meet frequently to have those communications, trying to partner together to get this project completed. Otherwise, we've received some rebuttals from Weddle Brothers Construction, but again, Larry can fill in the legal blanks, but nothing that would change the legal requirements on the contract they signed in May of 18 to complete this project by the end of May 2020.
Okay.
This is Eric Sandweiss. So if I'm understanding in simple or layman's terms, RDC is being asked to advance or to make a payment to RE, to Rundle-Ernstberger, in advance of or in expectation of ultimately recovering that amount and somewhat more through negotiation or legal action with Weddle Brothers. Is that correct?
I would just say there's no guarantee of recovery. Just to be clear, we have raised this claim with Weddle Brothers. There are certain contractual obligations. I think without speaking too much about it, certainly our position is that under the strict terms of the contract, under the clear terms of the contract, Weddle Brothers owes us $274,000 as of the date the letter was sent. So that has accrued more, just in the week and a half since the letter was sent. And that the extra $231,000 from this contract addendum is a direct result of their actions, or in this case, inaction on the site. So we will be pursuing that, but as you are aware, this is subject to potential negotiation. It is something that the mayor is involved on, and something that we would keep the RDC apprised on the entire time.
So I guess I am picking up on that uncertainty, obviously, and asking, is this the necessary action, and is this the necessary date by which to take this action, given the uncertainty of the timeline ahead in your negotiations with Weddle Brothers?
Well, regardless, the construction inspection services of REA are needed and desired for the site. Of course, Dave can speak to that. I don't want to step on his toes with that, but this is a service that's needed, and REA will have to be paid one way or another, whether we recoup the money or not, because of the work that they're performing on this project. And Dave, if you want to fill in some of those blanks, please do.
Well, we've paid for professional inspectors to be on the job full time until the last couple of months, when there simply wasn't enough activity and winter weather to warrant it. This construction administration services not only include boots on the ground, eyes on the ground to inspect facilities, to answer questions by the contractor, to review the quality or not of the work performed, to answer any questions. It also includes the Rundell's home office and their very capable project designers. And I can tell you from managing this project for a year and a half now that the numbers of communications between myself and the contractor and our consultant and our inspection staff daily is at least half a dozen communications. It's a very complicated project. We are very much intending to complete the environmental remediation of this site, as we successfully did with the Beeline Trail Corridor. We have followed the Addendum requirements for remediation and cover of the coal ash soils that remain on the park to ensure public and safe use. So the ability to monitor every layer of dirt that goes on under or above the berms requires daily observation, data gathering, communications with our contacts with state Addendum. We want to make sure this project is completed satisfactorily with high quality workmanship, and so the public can have a safe place to recreate. And that just takes a lot of administrative time and a lot of eyes and boots on the ground.
We have any other questions from or comments from commissioners? in regards to resolution 20-21? No? Anyone care to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion. We accept the resolution for additional construction inspection, resolution 20-21. This is David Walter, and I agree with what David Williams has said. I feel it's very important that we have boots on the ground and eyes monitoring this project through to the end. Thank you.
You got a second? Anybody? Going once, going twice?
I'll second. This is Eric Sandweiss.
Okay. Let's have a roll call. Don Griffin, I approve.
David Walter,
I approve.
Sue Scambolari,
Yes.
Eric Sandweiss,
Aye.
Cindy Canardi.
Yes.
All right, the motion approves. Is
Thank you.
passed. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item of business is resolution 20-22, change order number 1 for Winslow / Henderson Path Project. Is this also David Williams?
No, Matt Smithers with Planning and Transportation.
Okay.
So this change order covers the cost of a new monument sign at the South Court building on Winslow. That's part of our path project. The original plans called for the existing sign to be relocated, but after meeting with the property owner and discussing that sign, it was determined that the way it was constructed, it can't be relocated. So we're replacing that sign with a new sign that's similar to the old sign.
Property owner, okay, I get it. Any questions in regards to this, folks? From a redevelopment commissioner? None? Do we have a motion?
This is Sue Scambolari. I'll move approval of resolution 2022.
Cindy Canardi, second.
Don Griffin, I agree, yes.
David Walter, I approve. Yes.
Eric Sandweiss, yes.
I'm not voting till Larry calls on me.
Sue Scambolari,
Yes.
Cindy Canardi.
Cindy Canardi, yes.
Thank you. The motion passes.
All right, last item of business is resolution 20-23, change order number 2 for Second and Winslow multimodal improvements.
Matt Smithers again. The detection cameras on the 2 traffic signals that were replaced on this project, one of them did not function. It had to be relocated to function properly. There were other cameras there that didn't function at optimal level. So while we had the subcontractor there to relocate the one camera, they did some additional work on the other cameras, and this change order covers that work.
Okay. Any questions from any of our redevelopment commissioners in regards to resolution 20-23? I think everyone just wants to go home.
Okay.
Well, we're already home. Haven't left home.
I know.
No, I just have to commute to the kitchen for dinner. That's all. So.
Oh my gosh.
Sue Scambolari, I'll move approval of resolution 2023.
David Walter, I'll second that motion.
Donald Griffin.
Aye. Yes.
David Walter.
Yes, I approve.
Sue Scambolari.
Yes.
Eric Sandweiss.
Yes.
and Cindy Canardi.
Yes.
Right, motion is approved.
Right, thank you. I don't know if we have any other business or general discussion. I think we're good.
Just thank you for the opportunity to serve with you all. I'll miss you.
We will miss you too. Really, it has been, huh?
These meetings are way more fun than council, so.
Yeah.
Sue, I'm really going to miss being able to serve with you this year. So I'm just glad that we're friends and I can see you in other places.
Thank you. Thank you.
Here.
And Sue, I'll see you on Wednesday nights instead of Monday nights.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, Sue.
Bye,
Thanks for
guys.
everything.
Oh, meeting is adjourned.
Thanks,
Yes.
everyone. Appreciate it.